and Crosbie Lorimer here from Balcaddy Media, and it's day 3 of the Hamilton Island Race Week. We had a really lovely start yesterday for day 2. Winds were a little bit quieter than day 1, but it was such a beautiful sunny day yesterday. And we saw lots of whales around. There was pods of whales everywhere, and a particularly cute couple with a mum and its calf. And for the first time, I think, ever, we were offered cake off the side of one of the yachts, one of the newer boats. I think you need to help me here with the name, how to pronounce the yacht.
Baruch, I believe, a brand new naughty tech, first time racing, in fact, yesterday. And yes, that's pretty generous. Boat-to-boat cake offer, like it.
Yeah, we were sort of yelling at them to throw it over. We were a bit far away, so we didn't get to have the cake, but very, very funny crew on board that yacht. So before we get to race results today, I just wanted to talk about something that we saw early on, is Hamilton Island Wild Oats and Andoo Comanche were doing their pre-start dial-up. And obviously that's to battle out who has control over the start of the race, but do you want to talk a little bit more about what they're actually doing there?
Yeah, so anybody who's been sort of around and watched America's Cup racing for years, in the days of the old 12 metres and so on, the key to, it's like match racing, so effectively they're almost ignoring the rest of the fleet because they're going, we're for line honours, so we just want to get control of this start. And anyone who has control of the start immediately has a sort of a leg up along the way. It can always change, as it often does. But the point there really is to get in the controlling position. So when they say a dial-up, it looks like that. They're kind of doing really tight circles, and that's really hard yards in those big boats. You've got to be, all your crew got to be right on it because they're just doing quick bearaways, swinging around, then doing dummies, doing throw-offs, and all to get in the controlling position to get the start. So ideally, if they're down to leeward, then they're pushing them up to a point where then they can go off to the start. And you'll also notice they don't necessarily start on the gun because they know they'll be getting line honours or whatever it is, so they'll do that. So that's what they're doing, and it's extraordinary to watch. I'm glad to say this year we're at a bit of distance from them because it's pretty scary being in the middle of that last year, but that's what it's about fundamentally.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was interesting to watch. So today we've got early results in. It's a little bit hard to gather much from it only being day 2 of the week. So do you want to explain to us how the handicap works throughout the week?
Sure. So for all of the rating divisions, they have a certificate, IRC certificate, so they basically race to that certificate. For all of the guys in the multi-hulls and in the Hamilton Island class, which is the sort of non-rating based, they generally have a handicap. So what happens is, and the old adage is, don't put your nose out too early. So what you're trying to do is be in the top 5, 6 maybe at the beginning of the week, so that the handicapper doesn't notice you too early. And then as the week goes on, you kind of improve your performance, but you're doing it with a handicap that's not too bad. That's a rough rule. So that's why you'll see some people think, oh, why are they not in the top 2 and so on, and they're probably keeping their powder dry for later.
Tricksy. So from the division leaders that we have so far, anything notable that we should talk about?
I shall get out my crib sheet because it's a long list, and as I said, as you quite rightly said, you can't draw too much too early. But in the sort of top end of things, ratings 1, 2 and 3 alive, leading under IRC on 1. Matador, TP52, been very successful in the last 12 months, leading in Division 2 with Maritimo, the new Bill Barry Cotter's job, doing really well, coming through there, and Red Boat in, I think, Division 3. If you look down the rest of them, I think the notables are always the ones who just come back time after time, or people who are just always on the water. We're lucky enough to live in Fairlight in Sydney, and David Kellett's Sydney, which is just the most beautiful 60-foot boat, is always out there. She's always racing, and sure enough, she's racing up here, and she's leading the Blue Division of Hamilton Island class, which is great. In the same vein, you cannot have a Hamilton Island Race Week without Zoe, Wayne Miller's Zoe, and nice to see that she has decided to stick her nose out early in the Pink Division, so that's really good. And then who else have we got? We'll come to things like non-Spinnaker in the next 2 days. One of the ones that caught Jake's eye the other day was the Shore 650. That's Justin Brownbill's ripping little, it looks like a mini skiff, and it's been blasting around having a lot of fun, and they're leading trailers, so we're all good. I think that was most notable of all of that, really. Those are the main results, but we'll be bringing much more as we go on in the latter half of the week.
Great. So today we've got lighter winds.
And a hint of a bit of rain, actually. It's just spitting.
Yes, we're getting wet here. I suspect we'll get, a little bit more soaked later on throughout the day. So today we've got one of the longer island races, and everyone's starting